that's because of the culture in these four walls.
In your office.
Yeah, in our office. We are so passionate about giving back to our community. We're passionate about serving our association.
Thanks for tuning in today. My name is Sean Savitt with Live Lux Real Estate. I am a realtor here in Denver, Colorado. And today I have a special guest, Amber Carlton, realtor with Berkshire Hathaway. Amber, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the very basics. Why real estate? How did you find yourself in real estate? Let's start with that.
Yeah, sounds good. So 2 different reasons there. One, I really kind of wanted to get into interior design, and I thought that would be a good way to work into interior design. Turns out I love real estate, and my short career in home staging was not my passion. I do still love helping my clients with design selections in their home, but interior design itself is not exactly my jam. And real estate is. So that worked out well. The other reason was just to help people. My actual mission is to help people achieve their goals in life. So it works out super well to be in real estate to help people achieve big goals.
Very cool. So what keeps you in it?
Oh gosh. So many different things. A, I love my clients. B, it's something new every day. I'm currently president of our local association of realtors here in the Fargo Moorhead area. Heavily involved in the state association and its legislative session right now. So the amount of knowledge that we gain to help our clients too is just insane.
What do you find provides the most support to your clients? As far as you talked about education and stuff like that, where does that come from? How does that help them?
Yes. So especially, really any side, the more you know, the easier everything is, right? So buyer consults right off the bat, especially for first-time buyers, but even if you haven't bought or sold a home in 5 years, you're back to the blue book. Things change. So you really need to just walk through that and refresh and then see where people are at. Selling your home is no different. You need to know how the process works, what to expect. And when you have that groundwork, that's huge. On top of being more involved with the association. So you can say, hey, this is going on right now in a city right next to us. You need to be aware of this, whether you're buying or selling. Having that information for your clients is huge. If you didn't have that, we just had a neighboring city take away the 2-year tax abatement. All of the other cities still offer it, yet one of our basically suburbs decided not to out of nowhere. So if you have people looking to buy in that community, that's $4,000 over 2 years that they cannot get anymore. So if you're not in tune with what's going on, how are you properly helping your clients? I guess that's where I get passionate.
So where are you? What do you love about the area? What makes it so special?
Yes. So I service the Fargo Moorhead area. I also service Breckenridge, Wahpeton. I graduated from Breckenridge, and it's about 45 minutes south of here. And I also service Lakes area. I have a place out on Otter Tail Lake in Minnesota that I have in the summers, and I grew up out in that area too. So I have knowledge and experience in all of those. It's kind of a broad amount of coverage. But for Fargo in particular, they have done an amazing job over the past 10 years, kind of revitalizing downtown and adding so many new features to give it more of that suburban vibe. I lived in Denver for 5 years. That's where I got into real estate. And in the 5 years I was there, to come back and have all of the amenities that we have now, mixed use buildings with concert event centers right there and bars and stuff incorporated into it. It's huge. And that is a huge priority too for Fargo and the city of Fargo, is bringing in things that are going to attract people to live here. We have a ton of jobs. It's a safe, great area. But we want to get people moving here for all of the other amenities as well that people wouldn't think about when they think of Fargo. They've also done a really good job with outdoor trails that weren't really here when I left. They have incorporated a lot more of that type of livability with stretching out those trails into newer neighborhoods, a lot of parks. They're doing a really good job at improving just the overall quality of life that you get when you live here. We have Microsoft here. We have Aldebaran, which is a big biotech company. That one's probably one of the largest growing right now. We just got a huge Amazon plant out on the north end of town. So lots and lots of jobs. Anybody who's looking for a job, come move here.
What colleges are in the area? How far are they? Is there a certain like specialty to them?
We have a wide array for education as well. We have Concordia, which is a Christian-based college in Moorhead. We have NDSU, Go Bison. They are wonderful at football, and just great education there too. We have several tech schools, trade schools. One really cool thing that our area has noticed is there's a huge shortage in the laborers. So there is already one up and running in Moorhead for a trade school, and we are creating one in the Fargo side too. So people, when they're going to elementary school, will start familiarizing with some of these trades, get to go there periodically, kind of getting the parents on board with that too, because we need electricians. Electricians make really good money. You know, there's this stigma, I think, about you have to go to a 4-year school. Well, not everyone has to go to a 4-year school. So our community has made that a very big priority too, is creating a path forward for people to even graduate high school and be able to go right to work and be a skilled laborer, or maybe a 2-year program after that to be right out there. Because are you guys seeing problems, any challenges with trades? We have a huge trade shortage.
Yeah,
here.
there's a big shortage. And I think we're seeing a lot of very similar stuff where there's a big push to trade school and like this awareness of you could be a plumber or an electrician or a contractor of a lot of different types and make 100,000.
Yeah.
I just had a friend of mine mention the other day, he owns a couple automotive repair facilities, and they said, you want good mechanics, you got to pay them over $100,000.
Yeah.
I grew up, my dad had repair shops, and I think his top mechanic was making $21 an hour. And we're talking 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's still just a whole different level of value on the trades.
Yes.
And so I completely agree. What's nice to hear is that your education system and the whole structure, the whole infrastructure is focused on having kids get the education needed to get the job, not necessarily to have the degree and then figure, well, now what?
Yeah. It's really cool. The great thing about North Dakota in general is we're so small that everyone's voice is actually really loud, even on the legislative session and everything like that. You can make a real impact here. And that's so empowering and so good when the community comes together and sees a need and goes, well, what are we going to do? And then you get to do it. You know, you might have to tweak it a little bit, but you actually get to do it. It's not just talk.
How big is Fargo?
Fargo, I think he said in our meeting this morning that we were at 150,000 in population right now.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah, we gained 6,000 last year. We are growing like crazy, and our whole metro area is probably close to 250,000 between
What's
Fargo.
the closest like urban area, like big city?
Oh, Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
We're the biggest city in North Dakota.
Okay.
So Minneapolis would be the next. Sioux Falls is very close to our size. They might be a little bit bigger than us. And they are most definitely the biggest city in South Dakota too. So anywhere bigger than our type of area would be out Minneapolis.
Gotcha. Where do you find people are moving from?
Minneapolis, a little bit.
Okay.
The riots and some of that stuff, we had some people not feeling as safe and moving this way. Also, high tax states. North Dakota is a very low income tax state. So those higher tax states, people have been moving in, especially with the ability to work from home when you can work anywhere. had a
Yeah.
lot of people move out for jobs that now can work anywhere, and our cost of living and the low income tax. They're like, well, why wouldn't I just move home and work from home, or go live on a lake and work from home? So lots of Arizona, California, Texas, trying to think of the other people who I've helped recently. Yeah, all over.
Love it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about real estate. What have you seen in the last year? What changes have occurred recently? And what do you think is going to happen in the next, throughout 2023?
Yes. Okay. So real estate's local, right? I think people forget about that constantly. What's happening here isn't what's happening in your market. It's not what's happening in New York. It's all local. And we're in a very conservative area. So even in 08, 09, when there was the big crash, I can show you our 21-year stats. There was like a little blurb in like 2009, and then it just kept climbing up. But when I was in Denver, they showed me their past 21-year stats, and it looked like an EKG. That thing has been straight up since I was there for Denver. But here, it's like this slow rolling hill of a graph. So everything's still going up. Our home cost, or our pricing, is still going up, which is good and bad in and of itself. Great for our homeowners, hard for affordable housing. But yeah, I don't see that changing. Our absorption rates are at the max for our luxury, which here is 500,000 and over, 3 months. And neutral market is 6, and anything above is a buyer's market. So we've been very, very deep in this seller's market for a long time. And even with things slowing, days on market's increasing, but prices aren't really coming down because we still don't have any homes. And here, we don't have any apartment. We have less than 3% vacancy rate for apartments. It's just it's a very unique little market here where we don't really see drastic ups or downs, which is very nice.
Do you know the average year over year? I talked to an agent in Louisiana a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about he had made that same comment. Like Denver has been very volatile with a big spike in the last handful of years. And then by him, he's been seeing an average of about 4%.
Yeah, I would say normally our average is probably between 1% to 4%, most likely 2% to 3%. The past 2 years, it's been more, like maybe 12%, maybe higher. COVID created some big increases in the pricing, with people really being sick of their space, whether they were renting, and just needing a change, sick of their 4 walls when being stuck in them. So we had a busier market than normal, I would say, for a couple of years there. And now it is easing, but people are still making moves for sure.
What does your supply look like?
Oh, finally going up a little bit. We are finally getting a little bit of inventory, and we are so grateful for that inventory.
Right.
I don't think that's because of anything else than days on market is a little bit longer now. So we can actually, buyers get to make a decision. Our home buyers are getting to have home inspections again, which the fact that they were ever feeling the need to waive them is very unfortunate. It was the market we were in, but now we're getting back to a much more comfortable market where a home could be out there for 30 days. Somebody can sleep on it for a day or two, put in an offer. Both offers at least still have a home inspection, because we're still seeing multiple offers. They're just coming later, which is funny, but it's true.
Okay, average home price. And
Yeah.
then you had mentioned luxury starts about 500,000. So
Yeah.
What is the average home price? What do you get at the average home price? And then what do you get for the luxury price?
Yep. Our median average home price right now is just shy of 300,000. And that has gone up exponentially in the past couple of years. It was closer to 200. And for that, you get a pretty decent home here for that price. The flip side of that, 500,000 over is our luxury mark right now. I would anticipate in the next few years that'll bump up a little bit as our median average sales price has gone up.
Like 500,000 or 600,000. what can people expect in a house? Is that like a 4-bedroom, 4-bath? Is it new, old? Is it acreage?
Yeah, new or acreage or like waterfront property. Usually depends on what you're looking at. Your 1-story is going to be your most expensive home to build, of course, because of the footprint. So it just depends on what you're looking at. It could be a very kind of at 500,000, it could be a somewhat vanilla looking 1-story because those are the most expensive. Or as you go up, it gets jazzed up. We have some 1-story homes that are $1 million properties. Those have more bells and whistles, a little bigger lots.
Okay. What about, like I always say, like the standard here is like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, 2-car garage. Like that's kind of your, I don't want to say entry level, but very, very common. What would something like that cost in Fargo?
Yeah, probably about 250. I would say that's our IDCO. We've got this builder named IDCO who has been around a long time, and they used to really have the entry level market down. So those are still our entry level now. They're the most affordable for the most part. It's a bi-level, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-stall attached garage for a single family, not a twin, the most affordable. And you're probably looking anywhere from 250 to 280 right now, depending on what the inside looks like, how well it's kept.
Yeah, I was going to ask next, like how turnkey is that at 250 to 300?
As far as just it flying off the market, or
as far as like someone having to move in and be like, oh, we need carpets in the kitchen and a bathroom, or can you be under 300 and move in and be happy?
Yeah. Yep. You could be under 300 and move in and be happy. If you're over 225, you're probably going to be able to find something that you can pretty much move in. You'll probably want to do this little project. It's lipstick at that point, right? But you can find homes in our area for under 300. That might need little lipstick projects here or there, but they're definitely move-in ready. Once you get under 200, that gets tough. 225 is hit or miss, but even our like J&L twin homes are selling for between 230 to 260, depending on how nice it is right now. And that's a shared wall. The unique thing about that is like Fargo is very far away from the water. We've got rivers going through, but we're not by any lakes. Then you're headed into Minnesota. So you would have like towns around there, Fergus Falls in particular, where your entry level home there is actually going to be more affordable, but you're not on the water. Once you get out onto the water, then that's a whole nother ballgame. You're looking even a fixer upper on the water, minimum of 250 minimum, and you're going to need to do some work up to, the sky's the limit. You can easily go up to 2 million on a lake property, especially on a desirable lake. Okay,
so let me put it like this. Someone living in Colorado or in Denver, very urban, a lot of people talk about, wanting to get away, and we first think mountains.
Yeah.
However, the mountains are very populated. There's a lot of traffic. For people that would like to give, let's just say like their families, their kids, an experience of nature or small town. I don't want to say small town, but like, I don't know, that kind of Midwest vibe, like get out of the city, for 300,000, give or take. You can move to your area, be there part of the year, come back here for work and whatever it is. But maybe a great place to consider having like a vacation home that people wouldn't, I think people think like Florida or California and stuff like that. But honestly, going to the country or going to the river or whatever it is, like that can be a great place just to get away from it all.
Yes. And even when I lived in Aurora for 5 years, every summer I would take 3 weeks and come back home to go be at the lakes. Lakes area in Minnesota, if you haven't been there, is unbeatable. And if you have the opportunity to get a lake property, do it. There's only so many lakes and there's only so many properties. It will not be a bad investment for you to have. And I promise, if you like if you're a water person at all, it's gorgeous to spend summers in Minnesota at the lakes.
How far away is that?
It's for me to get out to my lake place, it's an hour and 15-minute drive.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And then what about closest airport?
Oh, Fargo. Fargo is going to be the
okay.
main airport here. So, and Hector, the beauty of Hector, especially if you're living in Denver, the Denver airport is awesome. It gets you in and out. It is not Chicago where you have to fear it, but it's huge and it's intimidating. It can be a little scary. Hector is just little itty bitty. There's not even a lot of people coming or going. I love our airport. That you don't get the anxiety of going to that airport that you get with a lot of other airports. And there are plans for them to remodel that soon too and add some parking and features there that weren't there. Yeah, I'm super passionate about Fargo. I love everything that they're doing here. And it's so nice that you could be a 40-minute drive out to a lake. The lake I'm on is further away. That's the lake I grew up on, which is Otter Tail. It's a very fun lake. We have Zorba's on the lake. So there's different restaurants that are actually on the lake. Zorba's is one of them where you can just drive your boat up and go have a couple cocktails and get some pizza and mingle with people. That would be one other thing. This area has really kind people who want to help each other. And I think that's really rare. And that's a different reason where, if you're thinking about a different place to live or have a second property or whatever it might be, having a community that's welcoming and wanting to help each other and help each other grow is huge. Very giving back to our community, all the charities, organizations like that. We do a Giving Hearts Day through Dakota Medical Foundation where there are matches on all donations made that day. And I think there's like 250 charities signed up for it. So it's a good area.
And on that note, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. This has been very educational.
I would love to help anyone moving to this area, whether it's Lakes area in Minnesota, Breckenridge, Minnesota area, or the awesome area of Fargo Moorhead. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.